tariff revolution is underway. The world is still soaking in the tyranny of Trump tariff, but this is not going to be about trade wars. It will be about climate change. Meet the Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism, or CBAM, EU's new tool to price pollution and the world's first climate tariff. In 2026, a new policy could redraw the global trade map, not with tariffs over steel or semiconductors, but over carbon emissions. And it may be the first of many green tariffs that could reshape how the world trades. The EU will impose tariffs on carbon heavy imports, challenging exporters to rethink how they produce and trade. So, what is CBAM? Here is how it works. Every product imported into the European Union that falls under CBAM, currently steel, aluminium, cement, fertilizers, electricity, and hydrogen, must report its embedded carbon emissions. That means how much carbon was emitted during its production. If your home country doesn't have a carbon tax or emissions trading system, like the EU's own ETS, the EU will charge you the difference. The importer pays the difference through a carbon certificate at the EU border. The dirtier the production, higher the price. And this hits India hard. This policy could feel like a carbon wall. Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal has expressed his concern, citing CBAM as discriminatory. He said, "Our heavy industries, especially steel, cement, and aluminium, are still powered by coal-based energy. And India currently has no nationwide carbon pricing mechanism. That puts billions in trade at risk." A 20 to 35% cost hike is expected by 2026 for Indian exporters unless policies and processes are urgently upgraded. Prabodh Acharya from JSW C-Suite has also commented, saying that this is a reality. Well, this was anticipated, and there are exporters, especially big manufacturing giants like China, who have pulled up their sleeves already. United Kingdom has launched its own UK CBAM and aligned its UK ETS with the EU's. Set to roll out in 2027, it is a carbon tariff on high emission imports such as steel, cement, and aluminium, mirroring the EU's CBAM. It covers a broader scope of indirect emissions, including heat and steam. Introduced post-Brexit to complement the UK ETS, it aims to level the playing field for domestic producers. UK exporters benefit from the harmonized carbon pricing and easier compliance. China's response to the EU's Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism is multifaceted, involving adjustment to its own carbon market, policies, and industrial practices. The country is focusing on strengthening its carbon emission management systems, expanding its emissions trading scheme, ETS, and increasing data transparency. China is also working on sector-specific decarbonization strategies and aligning its policies with global trends. The key aspects of China's response are strengthening the ETS. China's national ETS, already the world's largest, is expanding beyond the power sector to include steel, aluminium, and cement. This will increase the proportion of China's emissions covered by the market. Developing sector-specific decarbonization strategies. China is implementing policies tailored to specific industries like steel and aluminium, focusing on transitioning to cleaner energy sources and improving energy efficiency. Improving carbon emission management systems. China is working on enhancing its carbon oversight, pricing mechanisms, and policy enforcement to align with global standards. Increasing data transparency. They are working on improving data collection and reporting on carbon emissions to ensure accurate accounting and verification, which is crucial for CBAM compliance. Exploring international cooperation. China, meanwhile, is also exploring partnerships with other countries to share low-carbon technologies and best practices. Now, what will be the impact of CBAM on China? CBAM will likely increase costs for Chinese exporters of carbon-intensive goods to the EU, potentially impacting their competitiveness. The mechanism is expected to accelerate the green transformation of Chinese industries, encouraging them to reduce their carbon footprint and adopt cleaner technologies. While CBAM may pose challenges to certain sectors, it is also seen as an opportunity for China to enhance its industrial competitiveness in the long run by embracing green technologies and low carbon development. Overall, China is actively responding to CBAM by strengthening its carbon market, developing targeted decarbonization strategies, and improving its overall carbon management capabilities. This proactive approach aims to mitigate the potential negative impacts of CBAM while also positioning China for a more sustainable and competitive future. Thailand, via Miranti, is positioning itself to benefit from the EU's carbon border adjustment mechanism by investing in green steel production. Miranti Green Steel is building a $2 billion electric arc furnace in Rayong, aiming to export 70% of its low-emission steel to Europe by 2028. The plant's emissions are expected to be just 600 kg of carbon dioxide per ton, far below than traditional blast furnaces. This helps Thailand to avoid high CBAM tariffs and tap into Europe's growing demand for green steel. Now, India has to also strategize to combat the CBAM and how can it turn it into a catalyst. India can fast-track a national carbon price by 2026 through the Energy Conservation Amendment Bill and the emerging Indian National Carbon Trading Scheme. India can link ETS systems bilaterally with EU or UK to secure CBAM exemptions. We can subsidize industrial decarbonization using green hydrogen, scrap-based electric furnaces, building on JSW and Tata Steel's green projects. Support MSMEs with data tools, carbon audits, and low-cost finance, the backbone of India's export economy. We can also challenge at WTO while negotiating transitional relief from EU and advocating for CBAM revenues to fund decarbonization in developing countries. CBAM isn't just a trade barrier. It's a global pivot towards climate-resilient trade. With global carbon pricing systems expanding from 80 in 2024, covering 28% of emissions, the EU's move may set off a domino effect in policy adoption. India stands at a crossroads. Will we resist CBAM and risk losing market share? Or will we adapt and lead, using decarbonization as a competitive superpower? The carbon border is coming. The time to act isn't tomorrow, but right now.